Okay? No, these are not. This is not for welding. You got to use a helmet that has a number 10 or a number 11 shield. Okay? And you got to put your covers on because the UV light from welding, it can actually give you a sunburn. That's real. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. So you put this on. This thing's kind of worn out. It won't even tighten up. I'll do my best. Okay. These are like, see these gloves? These are good too. You see? I write MIG welding on them so people know. They're kind of like really big garden gloves, but with no fabric. It's all leather or synthetic or whatever it is. Yeah, I like using this. If there's a hole in them, you can't use them. And then make sure that this gets tucked in so that if any sparks fly, they go like this. Right? You getting all that on camera? Okay. Alright, so now I come over here. Come on in close. And I'm just going to put like a dot on there. And yeah, you kind of like, it's like a pool cue, right? It's okay, you don't have to. Yeah. As long as you don't look directly at it, you're fine. Okay? It's kind of like a pool cue, right? But what I do is, I kind of do like I take my foot and I step out and create like a triangle. Okay? So I got like a triangle going so that I can see it. Right? Okay? And so here we go. So I get down there, once I touch it, right? And now I'm ready to flip down. Okay? So there. Now come on in close. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use wire brush. Now let's look at the difference here between a beginner weld and my weld, right? And if you look here, you see here, I'll use this. These look like they fell from a bird, you know? They kind of just plopped right on there. Whereas mine is halfway buried. It looks like a piece of, it's like a raindrop that was made out of lava. And then it buried itself. If you look at the bottom, this is called the heat affected zone. You see, I put some heat into the piece. So now, that blob is part of the piece. They are not separate. This one, you kind of did it. And this one, you did nothing. Right? See this? This is just like, you just like put some bird droppings right on there, okay? So what you got to do is, when you're done, now let's take a look. Come over here, right? Take a look at the tip, the distance of that. That is super important, okay? When you're done welding, if you stop and it looks like this, that's not good. That means most of the heat will be in the wire, okay? So the correct distance is, you use the welding pliers, the correct distance is around there. It's like a ½ inch, or a little bit less, okay? Now, also technique matters. Not because of any fancy reason, but because you have to be able to see it. Now, even though you're looking through here, put the camera in here for a second. Can you see the lights? If you put the, oh, you have a flashlight on. All right, it's not gonna work. But if I look up and I put my head inside here, I can only see the lights. Everything else goes dark. So you're only gonna see the molten lava, or the molten steel in this case. You're only gonna see that. And if you can't see it, then you're out of position. Your body is out of position. So don't shoot it like this, okay? Step aside, right? Step aside like this, so you're into a triangle. Then down, you have, obviously your gloves are on when you're doing this, right? And and let's say I was going to weld right here. I take this, put that down on the table, right there, and then look at it, and then flip down and pull the trigger. So I'll do one more demo, okay? All right, here we go. If you come over and look at the distance on the, you see the distance on the wire? See? And then if you look at the piece itself, it's almost flat. It's like it got melted right into it. Now, just a couple more things for the absolute beginner. This is not advanced. This is for the absolute beginner. You must have a ground. These two are going to connect electricity, okay? Give you an example. You turn it on, okay? If I take the ground off, I can touch the table all day long. It's only when I do this that things start happening, okay? All right? Now, that's called the ground clamp. The other thing you should know is it'll work right directly on the ground clamp, so don't weld the ground clamp. Okay, now, one more thing for settings, right? Come on in close. This is the wire speed, and this is the heat, okay? I got it on, they have a chart on the inside of the box, but you know, everybody has their own preferences. My preference for 1/8 inch is number 2 and 30, but you can put it up. It really depends on what you're trying to do, okay? Now, let's just demonstrate that. If you can see this. Can you see this yet? Okay, now watch. I got the wire speed way down. I'll pull the trigger and watch. Okay? Okay? So, and yes, I'm wasting wire, but this is an educational facility, so we're teaching, and there's students around me, a student filming it, student watching it, so this is useful. So that's the wire speed. I recommend staying on 30. Now the heat, if it's too low, it won't penetrate the steel. If it's too high, it'll melt the wire before it gets a chance to penetrate the steel. Okay? So just keep it on the settings here off, right? Okay, and then when you're done, it seems like, you know, oh, whatever, I'm done, right? No. Make sure you put these back in the welding box. This is a, you know, wire brush. These go back, right, you know, where they belong in the box there. This is, we got the vacuum system going to pull some of the fumes out, right? You know, if it gets bad, we open the window, but this pulls all right. It's not great. We got a ruler, and then the table itself. You have to clean it with a coming close. This is one of those Miller welding tables, and I put a protective layer on it because this is what I do for MIG, because it leaves a lot of splatter. You could feel all the little bumps, but underneath here is perfectly flat and clean, and I use that for TIG welding. So I have 2 settings on my table. But you gotta get in the habit. You also, the shoes I'm wearing are not the right ones, because if a little piece of hot spark goes in there, it could go in and you'll do like the best dance ever. You'll be like, you know. And then you always want to put the leathers on. This stuff, it's relatively safe, but if a little spark hits you, not the spark that's bothered, but if it puts like a little blob of steel, that's gonna hurt. You know, so always wear the gloves. Okay, that's basically it. Any questions? Questions? All right, I'm Mr.G, Memorial High School, Welding 101, Intro to MIG Welding. That's metal inert gas, although we're not using the gas, we're using a flux core. That's another lesson. Let's just start with this. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later.